Yo, what is good, YouTube? It's your boy Leach, back here with another reaction video. Make sure y'all hit that sub button, turn them noties on it. Make sure y'all follow the socials on the screen. Be much appreciated. I give thanks to the man above for another day. God bless. I love y'all, man. And yeah, let's get right into it. Breaking news out of the NFL. Dolphins fire head coach Mike McDaniel, who's next up in Miami. Let's get into it.
The Miami Dolphins have fired head coach Mike McDaniel.
35-33 at 4 seasons as Miami's head coach.
He's been in charge of
Miami
Miami for the past 4 years, but failed to make the playoffs in each of the past 2 seasons.
I don't know. I kind of saw this one coming.
The Dolphins currently have the longest postseason win drought in the NFL.
In Miami, but he could.
With the Fins firing McDaniel, there are now
be a hot name on the market though for an offense coordinator job,
which represents a quarter of the league. And
I don't know
the
if
word coming out from the Dolphins organization, the owner Stephen Ross, saying this: after careful evaluation and extensive discussions since the season ended, I have made the decision that our organization is in need of comprehensive change. I informed Mike McDaniel this morning that he has been relieved of his duties as head coach.
Fins, bro.
I love Mike and want to thank him for his hard work, commitment, and the energy he brought to our organization. Mike is an incredibly creative football mind whose passion for the game and his players was evident every day. I wish him and his family the best.
Hopefully he gets a job elsewhere.
We move forward with the story and bring in B-Mac and Damian.
To be honest, bro, I saw the other day, or maybe it was 2 days ago, that the Cleveland Browns were interviewing my Bengals offense coordinator Dan Pitcher for their head coaching job. So you know what, Cleveland, go ahead and hire Dan Pitcher, bro. We'll take Mike McDaniel in Cincinnati as our OC.
Boots on the ground in Atlanta.
But the thing with that though is Zach Taylor would still call the plays. The thing is, Mike McDaniel would game plan,
asking you
that would be huge.
Your reaction to this news, because it seemed for a while that Mike McDaniel was going to be safe, that his job would be okay going into next season, and now at the top of a hat, it's not.
I'm right there with you. I'm surprised, Zach. I'm surprised. And when you look at how the season ended for the Miami Dolphins, in the last 6 ball games, they were 3-3. He made the quarterback change. You know, benching Tua Tagovailoa, going to Quinn Ewers. I felt like making that change for Mike McDaniel basically symbolized that he knew his job would be safe. And this was a plan made for the future, because as fans from afar watching the Miami Dolphins, we all felt like even though Tua Tagovailoa had some struggles, he was the best quarterback they had that could give them the wins in terms of the experience, and also too just the ability to have command on the offense. But if you're Mike McDaniel at that time, if you felt like your job would be safe for 2026, no question, I can make this move, because regardless what happens when
But I think the Dolphins should move off Tua too, bro. Like they gotta get rid of
to be the head coach for the Miami Dolphins. And you talk about,
I feel like that's what's holding the Dolphins back, bro. Like
Sunday.
Today
is Thursday.
Fast.
Thursday.
I'm pretty sure every
we saw other teams make this move instantly because they already knew what they were going to do. If you're Stephen Ross,
I think I missed
it
it though. What McFadden said.
What happened between now and Sunday that made this move become a reality?
Yeah, that's the main question. But I'm right here with all of us. I'm surprised. And when we talk about the quarterback situation, I thought that Mike McDaniel cutting the tether that he had to Tua Tagovailoa, because as you look at this team, this organization, a lot of the questions have been about the offense, particularly the quarterback. Mike McDaniel has been tied to Tua Tagovailoa, and he has been the biggest recipient of the criticism that has come to Tua, the quarterback at the time. So not only did I think that he made that move thinking he would be the head coach, but I thought that would even more so solidify his job being safe in 2026, 2027 season, because now you have a fresh start. Quinn Ewers,
but I think it's the right firing.
Some more reps, he can.
It's not like Mike McDaniel a bad coach, but like it just didn't work out for him in Miami,
he made
bro. Like,
days later, to B-Mac's point, what has changed? We don't know. I don't know if there's somebody out there that they want more, but I'll tell you this much. I don't believe the Miami Dolphins wouldn't have made this decision if they haven't done their homework and if they weren't convinced that the guy that was out there that they wanted, that they didn't have the ability to go out there and get him.
So many layers to this, and Damian, maybe I'll ask you this way, I'll frame it. What changed is John Harbaugh is now available since he was fired from the Ravens. Could that be an answer?
Yeah, I would love to see Harbaugh.
To now
Y'all probably tired of me saying Harbaugh, but like I would love for him to go to like any of these teams.
John Harbaugh absolutely has to be at the front of your mind. I mean, we talk about there were 7 teams that reached out to him immediately after he was fired, and if you're the Miami Dolphins, a team that has this playoff drought, that doesn't have that postseason experience, that doesn't have the fundamental core values that a team like the Baltimore Ravens is known for, that's what you want, because Miami, they always have good players, they always have good skill players. You have somebody at the quarterback position that you go into 2026.
But I guarantee you, Mike McDaniel.
But you need the foundational pieces, and Harbaugh is a guy that would provide that. So if I'm Stephen Ross, if I'm
longest
Miami,
active droughts
if I
playoff
haven't spoken to John Harbaugh like we're claiming, it's time to start that communication process, because he's a guy that can come in and address the needs that the team has.
And because of that, Damian, I know we're hearing the Miami Dolphins allegedly haven't reached out to Harbaugh's camp or his people to see if there's any interest. That's what we've heard. I don't believe that. I don't believe that, Zach. You asked the question, what changed between Sunday and now? Well, there was an unexpected firing that happened to a Super Bowl head coach in John Harbaugh. And we know how coveted he is with him being available. Teams that have head coaches probably would love to have him as their head coach.
Yeah.
Right? So I really feel like I can't believe that. I think they did something. And to your point about the ties, John Harbaugh brother is Jim Harbaugh. Jim Harbaugh went where? Michigan. We know Stephen Ross is a big-time Michigan alum. And I'm just trying to put 2 and 2 together here to make 4. Obviously, we're not making 4 right now because it's not making any sense. But I do believe they had to have done some type of homework just to see what the interest is. And if there's some interest, if they feel like they could be the one to go get John Harbaugh to be their new head coach, well, we got to cut ties with Mike McDaniel.
Got to.
Because I think any football fan would say if you had Mike McDaniel or John Harbaugh.
No brainer.
You're taking Harbaugh, no question.
I'm trying to follow all the dots that you're putting out there, B-Mac, and you look at the Dolphins, it's like their house is not even fully in order because they don't have a GM. They fired Chris Greer back in October, so they need to figure out who maybe will be the final decision maker to target who the GM will be. And you look at some of the names out there, 4 candidates right here. You see a long laundry list of guys, 3 people from the 49ers organization. You've got Champ Kelly, who is the interim GM right now.
I don't really know nothing about GMs,
in your mind, when you see and you think about the importance of the GM hire before getting the head coach,
GMs are really important.
Do they need to move in targeting someone if they want to scoop up a head coach now that they are on the landscape and the market for it?
Well, they need to move fast because there's so many jobs available.
The Dolphins are in the same state as
That's
the
the thing.
Falcons.
We're at 8, right?
Yes.
Is 8 the magical number right now as we see it today? So you talk about the quantity that's out there. There's a lot of openings. So if you're Miami being the most recent head coach, the most recent organization to fire your head coach, you're a little bit behind the 8 ball.
Yes.
Because some of these teams had a few days ahead of you to kind of go ahead and do their due diligence, especially if you haven't done any due diligence in trying to figure out who the potential new head coach could be and who the GM can be. So if you're Miami now, I think the most important thing would be this. How important is it to have the head coach and the GM be tied together, right? Do you want to have some sense of familiarity in terms of both individuals? So normally we see, Zach, the GM is hired first and then the head coach is hired. But what if you bring in a credible head coach that's already been known and has relationships in the National Football League? Then it might be the opposite way around. You bring in a credible head coach, hypothetically speaking, Coach Harbaugh. Now you trust that he has an eye for being able to put the quality pieces in place to be able to have the GM and the scouting department all hands on hand deck mentality to be able to get the best roster possible. So I think it depends on who they target as a head coach. If you have a first-year head coach, no question, you might want to have the GM be hired first and then have the GM do a head coaching search. But if this is the other way around, credible guy, you might trust his judgment to go ahead and you pick your GM.
And we're just gonna play it for what it is right now, right? We're linking John Harbaugh to Miami, allegedly. So if it is him, you let him make his decisions. He's been around the block enough. He has the experience. He has earned the opportunity to handpick whoever he wants for this organization. But I'm with B-Mac. The urgency needs to set in now because let's talk about the glaring obvious here. Miami is desperate. This is an organization that has been desperate. They've gone through head coaches. You went out and got Tua Tagovailoa, paid him a lot of money, and it did not pan out. He was benched how long after getting all that money?
No, what?
Same season. He was benched the same season, the offseason, after he signed all that money. Miami is desperate. They need to get ahead of the curve right now because, to B-Mac's point, they are behind the 8 ball, but you can gain a lot of momentum if you go out there and snag the guy that maybe some other teams could be salivated for, and then he goes out and gets his guys, picks his staff around it, and all of a sudden, you're in good business.
Damian, you bring up Tua. Let's talk a little bit more about Tua, because now you're going to have a new head coach and a new GM. So the people who bench you really aren't there anymore. What do you think this might mean for Tua's future? Could he have some more life on him in Miami as a starter?
I don't know.
It's possible, but at the same time, whoever steps into these jobs and these roles, they've seen the same tape that we have. They've seen the same quarterback that we have. They've seen the same guy turn the football over and give it to the other team that we have. And what does that do? That decreases your chances of winning. So whoever it is,
look at how much he's making, bro.
And the GM spot, whoever is making these decisions,
even a top 20
even starting with
quarterback.
Stephen Ross, you want somebody that you know can go out there and play competently as a quarterback and not turn the football over and put your team in positions to lose. So I'm not sure, even if a new coach or a new GM comes in, and maybe if they do have a little bit of belief in Tua, well, Stephen Ross has already been burned by that. And maybe if they do have a little bit of belief in Tua, well, Stephen Ross has already
if I was
been
the
burned
Dolphins,
by
I would just try to trade
He's
him.
already went out and vouched for that, and he got burned after paying him all that money. So I'm not so confident that Tua's future is going to be in Miami just because there's a change at the head coaching and GM position.
Yeah, I agree as well. When you look at the money that's tied to Tua Tagovailoa and the play does not match.
Not at all.
Let me know in the comment section down below. What do y'all think about this firing
that comes
Mike
in
McDaniel?
and he has complete
You think he'll get an
control
offensive
over the
coordinator
roster,
job
if he
fairly
feels
fast?
that he
Let me
can
know.
get the best out of Tua moving forward, maybe Stephen Ross will say, you know
the
what, I
Browns
trust
can
your
have Dan
football
Pitts.
judgment.
We'll take
I trust your
Dan.
football eye, and I believe you have a game
Go
plan
ahead
in
and
place
hire
that
Dan
will
Pitts. I mean,
provide
he
a
don't
better
even
Tua
call plays
Tagovailoa
anyways. He
than
just
what
game
we've seen in
plans.
years past. But it remains
big
to be
part of
seen,
it,
to be
but-
determined in terms of what the future holds for Tua
I would love that Mike
Tagovailoa. And
McDaniel
also,
game
too,
plan
this,
for
Zach,
my Bengals.
is
That would
option
be
B
fire.
better than option A for the entirety of the season, right? If you're telling me your option B at the quarterback position is better than the current option A, who is Tua Tagovailoa, then it makes sense. But we only saw Quinn Ewers for 3 games.
That's true.
We don't know exactly how he can handle being in the saddle as a full-time starter for the entire season.
True.
So I think it remains to be seen. But I can tell you this much: if I'm Tua Tagovailoa, he might be a little more excited than the Dolphin fans to see that Mike McDaniel is moving on, because now he gets a clean slate if he's still a part of this team moving forward in 2026.
Yeah, he has a chance now to maybe say that head coach, to say the starting
We'll
QB
see.
moving forward. Damian Harris, B-Mac, appreciate it. Thank you so much. We'll tap in with you later as we still continue to talk about all this news with the Dolphins firing Mike McDaniel, and now that makes 8 head coach openings.
8 head coach openings, bro. Do y'all believe that? But that's going to do it for this one. Dolphins fire head coach Mike McDaniel. Miami better get this next hire right at the head coaching and, GM positions, because God save the Dolphins. Like, man, they need so much help down there in Miami. I hope they get it. I think it's the right move to move off McDaniel, especially when you got Harbaugh on the market. Just try to do everything you can, try to get him. But yeah, make sure y'all hit that sub button, turn them noties on, and I'm out. Peace.